All right, guys, in this worksheet, it's your job, or I guess it's your goal, to find the free body diagram, draw all the forces on the objects, and determine based on your free body diagram what is the centripetal force. And remember that centripetal force is always another force. It's either FF or FA or FT or FN, etc. So for this worksheet, let's look at for example number 2. We have a cart going at constant speed over the top of a circular hill. So the hill is like this, right? So the center of the circle is right there. Now, we saw in class the last 2 days that the centripetal force will always act towards the center of the circle. So let's zoom in on our picture here, and let's draw all the forces acting on this cart. So on this situation, for example, there would be a downward force of gravity, which we'll call Fg. Excuse me, and there's going to be an upward force of the track on the cart, and that's Fn. And so these are the two forces acting on the cart. Now, since the cart is moving around on a circle, that means there has to be a net force. And this comes from Newton's second law, which says to have an acceleration, you need to have a net force. And so these forces cannot be equal. Well, since force gravity cannot change unless you change the gravity, right, which would mean moving to a different planet, then the only force that can change is Fn. And since the circle is this way, this is the center, we know the net force, which will be the centripetal force. So this is a case where the force centripetal is the net force. Then Fg must be bigger than Fn. And so we write that the centripetal force is equal to mg minus Fn. And that would be your answer for this question. So that's what goes in the blank, right? So that's how you approach these types of problems. So one more to look at. If you look at the yo-yo as it goes around the top of the arc, right? We can zoom in here on the yo-yo. It's got a downward force of the rope, which is called force tension, so Ft. But there's also got its own gravity, which is also acting down. So it's also got another force. Let me rewrite that. So when we look at the yo-yo, it's got two forces in the downward direction. So Fc is going to be equal to Ft plus Fg. And that's how you do free body diagrams for circular motion. Let me know if you have any questions on this worksheet.